Everyone, to the old vent number 17 mine. My name is Alexis. I will be your guide for today. This actually was the very first exhibit when the museum opened in 1933. And while this itself is not a real coal mine, it is based off of a real coal mine in southern Illinois. And so a lot of the machinery we're going to see today is real machinery that was built in that mine. So just to go over some logistical things with you folks, this will be about a 30-minute long walking tour. There's about 2 flights of stairs, and the ground can be a bit uneven at points, so just make sure that you watch your step. Also, as you can imagine, a real coal mine would be, it can be a little bit dark and a little bit loud at some time. But I will give you fair warning before anything is too noisy in case you need accommodations with that. And of course, if you need any accommodations with any of these things, just let me know and I'll see what I can do. Also, if everyone could just keep their masks covering their mouth and nose the whole time, I would very much appreciate that. Alright, thank you. Alright, so before we go ahead and get started, I am curious, what are some things only going to get worse too? Because miners were not paid in actual money. They were paid in this. This is something called... So, let's say that you had made like 2 strips for your week's worth of work. Well, before you go spending at the coal mine company, they're going to charge you for some bills. They're going to take $1 for your rent because you're living on coal mine company housing. And you have to do all your shopping at their company store, so they're going to take $1 for that. And actually, as a miner, you're responsible for paying for all your own equipment. So they're going to take another $1 for your pickaxe. Oh wait, you're now out of money. So imagine that. Imagine working all week and not only did you not make any money, you lost money. How does that sound? Labor standards law was passed. So that gave us things like a minimum wage. So now everyone is getting paid in a reasonable amount of actual money by the hour. And it also abolished child labor. So now children were no longer able to work in the mine. So with this not really new technology, but like a political innovation, we were able to solve this challenge of making sure we're getting paid enough. So good job, you guys. Alright, so come on up. Just make sure you don't stay at the top of the stairs. Again, you're going to want to see this box here in a sec. So what are some dangers that you think we might find out here in the mines?
Carbon monoxide.
Carbon monoxide, yes. That's what we use our canaries for. So carbon monoxide is a very toxic gas, can kill you very quickly, but it is colorless, odorless, and tasteless. There's no way for you to detect it on your own. So that's what they'll use canaries for. Canaries, just based on their physiology, when they breathe in, they actually take in like a double dosage of air. Because their bodies are a lot smaller, they would be affected by the carbon monoxide faster than we as miners would. Yellow, right? A normal fire color, absolutely. Anyone that's used a gas stove before, can you tell me what color is a gas stove when it burns? Blue, yeah. So if this fire was to turn completely blue, that's our sign that there's methane gas in the air. Unfortunately though, there's some issues with the Daisy safety lamp. On the top area here is a mesh screen that normally prevents the fire from getting out into the air. But you're working with sharp tools and sharp rocks all day, it would be very easy for this mesh screen to get damaged. And in fact, I have a hole here in my Daisy safety lamp. So what do you think might happen now that the fire is able to mix with the flammable gas and get out into the air? What might we see? Any ideas? Combustion. How about we try that out for ourselves? We're in a science. I'm going to ask that everyone make sure you're standing outside of this yellow trapezoid and away from the top of the stairs. In a second, I'm going to turn off the lights so you folks can see better. And I'm going to fill this box here with methane gas. So let me know what you see, and we'll see if combustion or explosion was the right answer. So, looks like you were right. That certainly looked like an explosion to me.
You saw it blow?
So this was called a pocket methanometer. It can detect methane not with an open flame, but by giving us a reading up here that tells us how much methane is present in the air. So if you were a miner, which one of these would you rather use? Yeah, this one, right? Seems like a no-brainer. Why am I even asking you? Well, there's a bit of a catch here. You may remember in the last room, I mentioned that miners are responsible for paying this is a lot more expensive than this. So even when this was invented, miners simply had no other choice but to continue to use the Davy safety lamp because it's just all that they could afford. Luckily though, these are things of the past. Coal mine companies now provide their workers with these pocket knives. These now is pulled by something called the electric mule. Before we head on, I do want to give a quick heads up. This will be a dark and loud train ride. Is there anyone that has any issues with sensitive hearing at all? Nope.
Require maximum safety for the miner, and roof bolting is the most effective technique. Once the coal has been removed from the working section of the mine, about the size of a large room, the roof bolting machine, designed and built by FMC Corporation, drills holes into the ceiling, a safer area in which miners can work. Without this safeguard, the roof might sag and eventually collapse. FMC roof bolting provides a safer and more permanently secure environment than former methods of roof support.
Small hole at the top. Next, they would take their dynamite. They would light the dynamite, put it in the hole, and they would get out of that way because that dynamite would explode, causing all the rocks to fall into the space below. And lastly, they would use their shovel. They would scoop the coal into their coal mine cart, and that's what they would do for 12 to 14 hours every single day. Is that what you would want to do for 12 to 14 hours every single day?
No.
No, right? It's a lot of, in some cases, literally back-breaking manual labor, right? So, in the 1930s, these three machines were invented that are going to make coal mining a lot faster, more efficient, and just less manual labor for the miners. So this yellow machine here is called an undercutter. This is going to replace our pickaxe. It's going to use that big chainsaw at the front to carve that undercut for us. I'm going to turn it on so folks can see how it looks when it works. It is going to be a little bit noisy, so just be aware of that. Here's called a face drill. It is going to replace our little hand drill by drilling the hole for us. And now instead of using dynamite, it shoots a blast of compressed air into the hole. This is going to cause all the rocks to crumble and fall to the ground. I'm going to turn this one on. Again, it's going to be a little bit loud. And then behind you, that orange machine there is called the joy loader. It replaces our shovel by using those crab arms to scoop up the coal, load it onto the conveyor belt, and then collect it in the cart at the end. I'm going to turn this one on. Again, it's going to be a bit loud. So thanks to these three machines, again, it was a lot faster and more efficient for the mine. Turn it on for you folks. It'll be a little bit noisy, but it is not as loud as the last three. So the way the long claw machine works is that big gear is going to carve into the side of the wall. siltiform, which can damage people's homes, businesses, can even drain the water out of ponds. It is a big problem. It is something that coal mining companies are aware of. They are responsible for fixing any damage done by subsidence, but it is far from a perfect system. Oftentimes, things are not repaired as fast as they should be, or to the quality that they should be. Surface, where coal miners can monitor their machines and make sure everything is working okay. Modern day coal miners are engineers, mechanics, people that are responsible for, again, just making sure everything is working safely and properly. So, what are some of the modern day uses of coal though? Do any of you folks know or have any guesses as to what we use coal for today?
Face masks.
Face masks. Not exactly, no. Face masks, though, are now worn by coal miners as an extra precaution against the coal dust. So they've got their own form of face masks. Any other guesses as to what we use coal for? Here's a hint. Look up. What do you folks see when you look above you?
Lighting.
Yeah, so 19% of our electricity here in the US comes from coal power. That is what it is mainly used for today. And here's a little diagram showing how this happens. So we start by burning coal in a furnace. That heat is going to boil water. The boiling water creates steam, which spins a turbine. That spinning turbine activates a generator. The generator creates our electricity. Unfortunately, though, our usage of coal like this comes with its own unintended consequences. Do any of you know what a big issue? Yeah, so coal miners nowadays do have to wear masks.
They didn't have to wear back then.
No, in the 1920s, no, not all the time. You're welcome. Thank you, you too. So that's how they used to make trains go. So one of the original uses of coal in the Industrial Revolution, when steam trains